Hi, today is April 6, 2023, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 574 for the year, Some Monet-Looking Shit. It was some Monet-looking shit yesterday afternoon on the Hudson River. There was a boat. I don't know, maybe it was a tugboat, I don't know. It wasn't tugging anything, so maybe it was just some kind of red fucking boat, I don't know. But then the fog all over the river and those little wooden shits that were sticking up in the river from maybe, I don't know, maybe there used to be a pier there, I don't know. And in the back, behind whatever the fuck kind of boat it was, there were these buildings, you could barely see them, and they reminded me of those cathedral paintings that Monet did. I'm not saying it was like the cathedral paintings. Nothing is like the fucking cathedral paintings, but it was like if Monet had been standing there where I was standing looking at that boat and those pier remnants or whatever the fuck that shit was, and the buildings in fucking New Jersey that you could only sort of see through the fog, if Monet had been there, he would have said, "Baisse moi, je dois peindre cette merde," which means, fuck me, I have to paint that shit. And he would have had to. He would have had to paint that shit. Just like I had to get off the fucking city bike and take a picture of that shit. Just like, j'ai dû photographier cette merde. Naturellement. Poem number 575, like if you dropped a scarf. Bob Roth is always quoting that thing the Maharishi says, how the Maharishi would say that if you forget the mantra, it's like if you dropped a scarf. You pick it up and keep walking. But I'm like, if I drop a scarf on the city sidewalk, who knows what the fuck could get on that scarf? What if I drop the scarf in a fucking puddle? What if I drop it in some dog shit? The Maharishi makes it sound so easy, but sometimes it's not so easy. Poem number 576, Snowball in April. It would be weird to see a snowball today because it's April. A snowball in April would be a weird thing to see. I'm not saying I've ever seen a snowball in April. I'm just saying that if I were to see one, that would be weird. Of course, there are many parts of the world where there is a lot of snow in April. In such places, it wouldn't be at all weird to see a snowball in April. So what I ought to have said was that it would be weird to be here in April and to see a snowball. What I'm saying is this would be a weird place to see a snowball in April. Poem number 577, Inner Self, prompted by Stephanie Valenti's final April poetry prompt number 8, Inner Self. This one's called Inner Self. The inner is generally thought of as the self, but maybe self is non-localized and non-specific. Perhaps self is outer as well as inner. Perhaps inner is as much self as it is not self. Sometimes inner is Jekyll, sometimes it's Hyde, sometimes it's Jekyll from Heckle and Jekyll, sometimes it's Hyde from that 70s show. Perhaps when it's Stephen Hyde or Mr. Hyde, it only seems as if it's inner. Or it is inner, but it only seems as if it's the self. Maybe the inner is bile that has to be thrown up so that the outer self can come in. Actually, this all seems either implausible or nonsensical or both. I think I should start over. Poem number 578, Outer Self, also prompted by Stephanie Valenti's April poetry prompt number 8, Inner Self. This one's called Outer Self. I often look outside myself for the self that should be inner. There's the outer self, the mask we wear and that we've always worn long before COVID, and we think of it as false. We say it's a role that we are playing, but maybe in a way it's who we are or a part of who we are. Maybe you judge me by the way I treat you, but I could very well treat you very well while secretly having contempt for you, or I could fight with you tooth and nail because I adore you. Outer self and inner self sometimes align, and sometimes they don't at all. At least that's what I tend to find. I'm sorry. I don't think this is working either. Right now, the inner and outer are both discombobulated. To paraphrase a Steve Martin line from like 1978, some days I have a way with words, and other days I, not have way, I guess. All right, that's it for today. Thank you. I appreciate you as always. I truly do. I appreciate you. Thank you.